ओके गाइज लेट्स स्टार्ट. दिस इज डे 9 एंड ओके तुमको गिफ्ट मिल जाएगा. This is day 9 and we are starting vector, and first I'll give the some basic description about vector and then we'll start vector calculus. Good evening all of you. Let's start. So actually what is vector? So guys, you know that what is the notation for the vector? We use arrow, correct? So in this arrow you have two things. One is the length of the arrow and one is the direction in the arrow. One is direction, right? So whenever we are saying the direction, so to show the direction we should have some reference line. So we consider this line as a reference line. Then this vector, if I draw like this, then this is known as theta. This theta, you will say direction of the arrow. Actually any vector quantity from physics, from science, any vector quantity we can represent using arrow. So that vector quantity will have two things. One thing is the value of the vector quantity. Next thing is the direction of the vector quantity. So you know basics about vector, so no need to go into that much detail because it is just simply waste of time. I will go to the applications like addition, subtraction, multiplication, those things. How do we add vectors? So that is my first topic, addition. It is actually very easy. Addition of vectors, very simple. Suppose I am giving you one vector like vector A is equal to 2i plus 3j minus k, and I am giving another vector B is equal to minus I plus 2j plus k. And if we have to add these two vectors, so if we are adding these two vectors, now see the difference here. If you are adding two vectors, then you will be getting, suppose, a new vector I am saying as vector r. So if the vectors are given in I, j, k form, always remember cap will be there. I am not writing cap, but by default cap you have to write. Okay, in your notebook you should write the cap. So when we are adding these vectors and vectors are mentioned properly, then you will simply add I with I, j with j, and k with k. I with I, if you will add, then it will look like I, and this will look like 5j, and this will look like 0k, right? So you see here, when you are getting I, j, k, now see this vector is a different vector, this vector is a different vector, and what about this vector? This is again a different vector. So get my point. How you have added? You have simply added the digits written here. Okay, now this addition, what you are seeing, this thing you are able to do if the vectors are given in these kind of digits. But what if vectors are not given like this? What if vectors are given as a direction? Because see guys, any vector will contain two things: its magnitude, suppose this is a vector, and its direction. Okay, so we have actually three symbols here. So when you use symbol this, then you say it is representing a vector. When you will represent this symbol, then you will say it is representing magnitude. Magnitude you can also say as value, like what is the value, or in case of some physical quantity it can be length, right? And you can also write it can be also length. And when you are having this thing, then it is nothing but unit vector of a vector. What is the meaning of unit vector? Unit vector is simply like a direction of a particular vector. Like in this vector A, you have two things. You have modulus of the vector and you have direction of the vector. Okay, so this guy is known as unit vector. And actually I cap, j cap, k cap, they are also unit vector, but they are fixed unit vectors. Fixed means always this, whenever I cap will come in mathematics, it will always show this direction, that is x direction. Whenever j will come, it will show y direction. Whenever k will come, it will show z direction. But whenever any other type of vectors are coming, for example, sometimes you might have heard in science n cap, s cap, v cap, these kind of vectors. So they are based on the question, what kind of question we are solving. In that, what is the meaning of n cap? Just one example. Suppose you have any pipe. In this pipe, any flow is going like this. So you can see the plate here, this opening the hole. Okay, so one vector perpendicular to this hole. Now this direction is neither x nor y nor z. So for this direction also I should give any name, correct? So I can choose any name out of any vector. I can choose any name and I can say, okay, this vector is a cap. A cap means it is just a direction of this aerial vector. Okay, what is the logic here? I'm trying to say, when they are giving vectors in form of vector, like in form of I, J, K, then addition is very easy. But if they are giving vector with the help of direction and magnitude, means I'll change the page. Suppose one example, a force of 2 Newton and 3 Newton acting on a mass m. What will be the, of mass m you remove, you write mass 3 kg. What will remove 3, you write 5 kg. What will be the acceleration of the mass? Okay, now you see here, I will give you the option 1 meter per second square, option 2 5 meter per second square, option 3 2 meter per second square, option 4 3 meter per second square, option 5 none. You guys take the option, then I will explain. You guys take the option, then I will explain. You remove this here, you write forces, because 2 forces, na? Forces. Other students tick on the screen. Some, at least 2-3 students tick on the screen, then I'll go ahead. Okay, now you see guys, whenever you have to find out acceleration, then you can use solution. You can use Newton's second law. From Newton's second law, we get F is equal to ma. Okay, if you are getting F is equal to ma, then you should know the force and mass is given, then you can find out acceleration. Okay, so now some students will do a big mistake. What mistake some students may do? They may think that 2 Newton force and 3 Newton force, if you will add, then you will be getting the final force, that is 5 Newton. So this 5 they will use as a resultant force, and mass they will use as 5, and this acceleration 5 gets cancelled. Acceleration A is equal to 1 meter per second square. Some students may follow this thing, but guys, see, you may think that your solution is correct, but force is a vector quantity. So how can you add directly without knowing the direction? Okay, this is the problem with vector and scalar. If I will say you, there is a mass m, on this mass m, 2 forces are acting, one is 2 Newton, one is 5 Newton. I mean, one is 2 Newton, one is 3 Newton. So what is the resultant force acting on the mass? So you cannot say what is the resultant force, because I did not mention the direction. It means what? This question is incomplete question. Why incomplete question? Because we don't know the direction of 2 Newton and 3 Newton. Maybe if this is the mass, both are acting in same direction. Maybe if this is the mass, one is acting like this, one is acting like this, right? Or maybe if this is the mass, one is acting like this, one is acting like this, right? So in different cases, we have to add both the forces, and because angle of the force, I mean the direction of the force is not mentioned, so you should choose option none is the right option. Okay, I will change the page. So we are learning the addition part. Okay, so in addition, how will you add forces? So see, if one force is given and suppose the value is given as P, and another force is given, suppose this value is given as Q, they both are vectors. Okay, and because they both are vectors, but we don't know angle between them. So suppose this value of P is given as like this, mod of P, that is simply P I'm saying, and for this vector, mod of the Q vector is given as simply Q. Okay, now I want to add these two vectors. What will I do? I will go for this formula, resultant force, I mean addition means resultant force. You know this formula very well, P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Now see, if you are sure that theta is mentioned, then only you can find out resultant force. Sometimes in the question they will not give the theta, but the wordings of the question will sound like theta is 90 degree. In those cases, but you have to be very sure that theta is 90 degree, then only in some questions it will sound like, the question will sound like, okay, theta is 0 degree. Some questions are of that type. Okay, so this is the way. But how will you bother about the theta? Always one great problem students are having. See, for example, if I am giving one vector, suppose 20 meter per second in this direction, and one vector, suppose I am giving 10 meter per second in this direction, and here I am giving theta 20 degree. Okay, so if I'll say find out the resultant of the two vectors, so some students will apply like this: r is equal to under root 20 square plus 10 square plus 2 into 20 into 10 into cos 20. But this will be wrong approach. Why wrong approach? Because this 20 is not the angle between two vectors. This 20, what they are showing here, that is not the angle between two vectors. So how will you calculate that angle between two vectors? So angle between two vectors you can take if their tails are matching or their heads are matching. I mean, only add the tail and only add the head and head only you can define the angle. But in this question you see head of this guy but tail of this guy. So this 20 is not the correct. So what will you do? So it means what? This is not the right answer. So what is the right answer? So for that purpose, what will you do? I will show you here. Actually, I have a facility in this Zoom app. I will use that facility. You do one thing. Either you match head and head both of both the vectors, or you match tail and tail of both the vectors. So see, I am matching. See, I hope you are getting what I am trying to say. I am shifting this vector from here to here. Okay. So angle between both the vectors is nothing but the tail and tail. Once the tail and tail matching, then only you can find out the angle between both the vectors. So see, when you shifted this vector here, then what are you seeing? When you are shifting the vector from one point to other point, two things you should not change. Length of the vector you should not change, and direction of the vector you should not change. If these two things you are not changing, then your answer is correct. I will change the page. What I'm trying to say, I'll explain. See what I'm trying to say. This vector is like this vector is like this, and suppose if this angle is given as 20, then you have to make sure this angle is correct or not. So for that purpose, what will you do? You have one more option. One thing I have shown, you see another one. You can also do shift this vector here. Okay, so that this head and head, I mean this head and head should match. Okay, earlier this vector was like this, correct? So if this is 20, this is 20. So in this example, theta is equal to 20 is correct. But if you know this logic, then only I will say that your answer is absolutely correct. Then only I will expect your answer is correct. But if in hurry-burry you have kept here 20, then I will not accept. Why? I will explain why. See, now some students in hurry-burry, suppose one vector is given here and another vector is given here, and this angle is given as suppose some 110 degree. Then suppose I am giving 10 meter per second here and 20 meter per second here, and I will ask the final velocity. Then students may do like resultant is equal to 10 square plus 20 square plus 2 into 10 into 20 into cos 110, because they are habitual. In hurry-burry they will do mistake because they will not bother, okay, which theta is given. So I hope you got my logic. Theta should be taken only if the vectors, head of the vectors are touching each other or tail of the vectors are touching each other. Okay, but in this question you see that angle is acceptable or not. How will you make sure? There is a way. What is the way? You make so that both should touch each other. So for that you do one thing. Take this vector here and shift this vector here. Okay, so now tail is matching. So when tail is matching, then what is the angle? Then angle is this much. So out of 110, I mean 110 is not your right angle because this vector was here, right? So the remaining is 70 degrees. So here you should put 70. Then only your answer will come correct. Otherwise your answer will come wrong. I hope it's clear now. So how you add the vectors? I will change the page. Now subtraction. If multiple vectors are there. Suppose if multiple vectors are there, These things, when I was teaching you aircraft structure, then I gave you some assignment. So during those assignments already we have discussed these kind of I have explained in the video solution also, right? Assignment video solution. Okay, in aircraft structure. Now take one more thing. Suppose you have to add these vectors. Suppose I'm giving you I'm making any gate question. In that question I'm giving you this one vector is like this, and suppose one vector is like this. Okay, so the resultant vector direction, if I'm looking for, so where will be my resultant vector direction? So that will be like this, or that will be like this, or that will be like this, or that will be I can make so many examples, right? So whenever you are trying to add the vectors, there are four very popular ways. So four very popular ways. One thing is, if the vector is given in terms of ijk, then direct addition. Now in the first way. Second way is, you can apply this formula, r is equal to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. Now third equation is triangular method. Okay, now fourth method is parallelogram method. Okay, now what is this triangular method? Triangular method is like this, you see here. If okay, see, this part is clear, this part is clear. Now I'm taking triangular. So in triangular addition, what do you know? What do you have to do? You have one vector like this, you have another vector like this. So now you see, tail of one vector you have to add with head of the another vector. So this vector will be your final vector with magnitude this much and with direction this much. Okay, now in this case, in the question, this is your vector. So this vector is the resultant vector. So that is nothing but this vector. Okay, like this you have to check. Now what is parallelogram method? You know that also. I understand that you know that also. Now see, I'll change the page. In parallelogram addition method, if one vector is like this, suppose that vector is any vector p, and magnitude of this vector is p, which is simply p, and I am writing another vector like this. That vector is q vector. Now see, what is difference between triangle method and parallelogram method. In triangle method, this vector was not here, this vector was here, but in parallelogram method, both the vectors are touching each other's tail, right? So you just draw the dotted line so that you can complete the parallelogram, and then from this meet here. Now see, this became your vector quantity r. Now this vector quantity r is having two things. One thing is magnitude, and next thing is direction. Okay, magnitude part is very simple part. Magnitude part is r is equal to under root p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta again, where the theta is the main angle between the vectors p and q. Okay, but sometimes they are asking direction of the vector. So direction of which vector? Direction of resultant vector. So direction of resultant vector, I will call this as angle alpha. Okay, now see, this angle alpha I am representing from this p. This is your alpha. Now that alpha, you have a trick. So tan alpha, you can find out with the trick. So see, from which vector you are finding out this angle, guys? From vector p you are finding out the angle, correct? So p you write here. See the trick. Okay, then put plus sign here. Okay, what is the meaning of tan here? Tan is nothing but sine by cos. So you write sine here, and you write cos here, and you write cos here. Okay, now you understand. After this sine, this theta will come. What theta? Theta is the angle between p and q. So put here theta, put here theta. It is theta, guys, actually. It is theta. Okay, now q is also remaining. So put here q and put here q. Don't be confused with theta and q. Right? So this is how you will calculate direction of any vector. Direction of resultant vector from vector p. Now suppose any student is interested to know the direction of the resultant vector from q vector. Okay, so there are two ways. First, calculate the alpha and subtract from theta. Suppose this angle is beta. So suppose you are interested in beta. So one way is theta minus alpha, correct? Like what is theta? Theta is the total angle, and alpha you will achieve from this formula. And there is another way, and you can get beta. And there is another way. You apply tan beta. Now, same concept. From which vector you want to find out direction? From vector q. So this time you write q here. Earlier I was writing p here to find out alpha. Now I will write q here to find out beta. Okay, then put plus sign. Then you write sine theta here, then sine theta here and cos theta here. And you write p here and you write p here. Simple. So you see here, both the equations are totally matching. Now, alpha and beta, you know how to find out. So whatever they are asking, you can just quickly find out. We will solve one small question. We will solve just for practice this question because it is important. I will change the page. Take down the question. Two vectors. A is equal to 2i plus 3j and b is equal to I minus j. See, I am not writing cap and cap, but you should write cap in your notebook, everyone. Okay. So two vectors A and B. These two vectors are acting on a point. What will be the resultant force and direction of motion? Right, Vedant. The theta is the angle between P and Q. Direction of motion of the point if A and B represent forces. Okay, now you see. Here, this question will make lot of things very clear. So see, to understand this idea, just you understand one very general fact. Suppose I am drawing, this is my x axis, this is my y axis, and suppose I am drawing a vector. This vector I am saying as suppose I plus 2j. What does it mean? Meaning is length on the x-axis is 1 unit and length on the y-axis is 2 unit. That is the meaning. Okay, that is the meaning. So if you want to find out the direction, so there are two ways to say the direction. You can say the direction from the x-axis, or you can say the direction from the y-axis. Right? There are two ways. So suppose this example is not from this question. Simply I want to explain something. That's why I'm taking this example. Suppose I want to find out direction from x-axis. What will you do? Direction from x-axis, what will you do? You are looking for this angle. So what you do, you can clearly see if you draw one line like this. So this is already 1 unit. And this you are looking for. And this height is nothing but this 2 unit height. So you simply apply tan, consider this as alpha angle, tan alpha equation. Tan alpha is equal to 2 by 1. We got it. Right? And if you are looking for beta, suppose this angle you are looking for. Direction from y. Next heading, direction from y-axis. So then in that case, suppose this is beta. So again, you can see tan beta you apply. Tan beta is equal to this angle. So this is perpendicular, this is base. So 1 by 2. Right? I hope you're understanding how it is working. Some people, they don't explain properly. They say direction of a vector is tan inverse y by x. It is totally wrong. Why it is totally wrong? Because this will be correct if you will mention from which axis you are considering the direction. Like see, here it is 2 by 1, but here it is 1 by 2. Right? So you should know the difference between both. Difference is only about the reference. From which reference you are looking for the direction. Okay. Now, if I have two vectors here, A is like this and B is like this. And I want to know that what will be the resultant force and direction. So resultant force is very, very easy. I forgot to